Welcome to the realm of magic and mystery, classic horror and sci-fi. You are now entering the House of the Unusual podcast with your hosts, Eddie and Joe. Welcome all you cool ghouls and friendly fiends to the House of the Unusual podcast. I'm your host, Joe Pavlansky, and with me as always is the maestro of mail order mysteries, Eddie Guevara. With us also tonight is the dynamic duo of Chuck and Cheri Caputo.
Hey,
welcome,
right.
everyone.
Thank you.
Hello, hi.
Hello.
Awesome. So, before we get into our conversation here, and I do have some questions. I do have a question that I have to ask Chuck and Eddie, which I should have asked last podcast, but I forgot because it had to deal with the podcast before that, and maybe it will jingle your guys' memories. But hey, before we get on that, we are going to talk about real quick some of our friends of the podcast. And first, we're going to start off with our buddies Todd Machen's site at the sea-monkeys.com. So whether you're a novice, or an expert sea monkey person, there's always stuff on here for you. So you could always upgrade your sea monkey aquarium, or you could just start it off. Or if you have all your sea monkey needs, there's tons of other stuff on here. They have a great 2022 sea monkey calendar. The layout is absolutely fantastic on it. There's puzzles, there's postcards, t-shirts. So there's stuff for everybody on there and stuff to hand out as gifts as well at sea-monkeys.com. All right. Also, our buddy Dave Haversat has a great site at 1878press.com. Tons of books on there on magic and mentalism, Houdini, psychics, all that good stuff. Mail order companies like SS Adams, tons of great books on there. A lot of them are discounted, very good prices, and some of them are out of stock. So, they're limited runs. So get on there quick and grab the books that you want. All right. Also, we have one of our favorite magazines, becoming one of our favorite magazines very quick, is called Stupid, and it's at stupidcomicsmagazine.com, and that's STOOPID, and they are on issue number 5, but I did get word that issue number 6 is going to be out soon, so make sure you are checking that out for that next issue. And if you need any of the back numbers, he has them all on there. You could get, they're up to number 5 right now, but they did start with number 0. So there's 6 issues out now, and you could get all of them for a great price on the website. Also, if you're looking for your Scary Monsters magazine, any back issues or current issues, head over to mymoviemonsters.com. Right now, they have issue number 125 up, and it is the Heinlein, Bradbury, Burroughs, and Block issue. And this is up for pre-order. Scott Jackson hits it out of the park again with his awesome wraparound cover. And I do have a article in this one on Edgar Rice Burroughs' At the Earth's Core, the 1970s movie. I believe it came out in 74 or 76. I can't remember offhand, but Carolyn Monroe's in it, so you can't really go wrong with it. So make sure you go on there, pre-order your magazines, or head to your local bookstore, Barnes & Nobles, whatnot, and you could find it there. All right, so that's what we got for today for our friends of the podcast. And I'm going to turn it over to our buddies, Chuck and Cheri, and see what's new with them. So what's new, guys?
All right. Hey, it's great being here. What do you think, Cheri?
Oh, yeah. I love being here. Thank you.
Yeah, we got over a bunch of snow, Joe. It snowed about 10 inches. I shoveled maybe 3 times the other day, off and on. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, we got about 13 here in Northeast Ohio.
Wow.
Wow. It was crazy. I mean, so I got an early start. I was out at 12:30 a.m. when it was coming down, and we have on-street parking. I don't have a garage, and so I had to do our parking. It was tough, but well, what are you going to do? We were due for it, right?
Yeah. It's been a mild winter so far, and you tell you what, I was watching the weather leading up to that, and they had said that the way the storm was going, because it kind of was going from west to east and went down south and then was coming back up north, and the path it was going on, it was going to hit Northeast Ohio and kind of sit there for a while. And sure enough, that's exactly what it did. It just kind of sat there and just dumped snow on us. And
I think it's headed toward out toward Eddie's vicinity,
I
right?
think it is maybe on the weekend. I'm not sure.
Yeah, she's seen something on the internet.
Yeah, I was just looking at the weather now, and it looks like they're going to get hit with. I don't know if it's the rain's going to turn into snow or whatnot, but it's kind of going underneath us, Chuck. So they're going to get it over there in Jersey.
Oh man!
Which it was today. It was 46 out, so a lot of the snow is melting, and my yard is just turning into a swamp. And the dogs, they love it. They run out there, get all muddy, and God, I said, just don't rain or anything anymore. I don't need any more wetness in my backyard.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it's melting here too. It was about 40 something here.
Oh, it was beautiful. It was a nice day today. Very nice.
Yeah, I can't believe it after the weekend we had, and then today was such a nice day. But I'm kind of looking at the weather now, and it's going to be dropping. Tomorrow is going to be 21, and then Friday is going to be high of 19 with low of -2.
Yeah, wow. I mean, this is a big fluctuation. But what I've been still doing some shows. There was a few things that canceled, because of the virus and everything. And one guy hired me, and he had double pneumonia. He said, right, Cheri? And so he canceled. I mean, so that's understandable, and everything. So, so we've been filming the teaching series. We're going to try to get up to 25 volumes. I think that would be about the limit. But I mean, this is going to be the most comprehensive magic course ever, Joe. I mean, we're going to cover things from coins to cards to mentalism, scarf magic, rope magic, ventriloquism, building magic. I mean, it goes on and on. It's like the most comprehensive thing. Like I said, throughout the years, I've read excessively, from all the old books and so forth. So I took notes on the techniques and so forth. So I'm actually digging into my notebooks now. So it's actually turning out very, very well. And we're having a blast here, Cheri, huh?
Yeah, it's been really fun filming.
That's awesome. I tell you what, the videos on the YouTube channel have been doing great. The views have been up. Our subscribers base has been up, and it's steadily increasing. I think just a week ago we were down around 98, 99, because it fluctuates, here and there, but we're up to 817 right now. And
great.
I mean, we're on a great, I'm hoping we could get up at least over 1,000 real quick. And I mean, people are enjoying the videos that you and Eddie are putting out. And I mean, it's doing fantastic. So everyone out there, if you guys haven't been on our YouTube site, it's under, just type in the search House of the Unusual, and you'll see it pop up. It says House of the Unusual Eddie Guevara. Subscribe to the channel, like the videos, and hey, go into the comments, and if you got any questions or anything, that's the place to do it, and someone will get back to you, hopefully.
Yeah, we got some great viewing people out there. Thank you for all your support, folks. We certainly do appreciate it.
Are you there, Chuck?
Yeah, I'm here.
I think we lost Eddie again.
No, I'm here.
You there, Eddie?
I'm here, my man.
Oh, okay. Because I was looking at my thing. I didn't hear you because, for people out there that are wondering, what the heck are they talking about? This is our second recording, because the other one shut off about 15 minutes in. So you got to love technology, man. When it works, it's great. But when it doesn't, man, is it frustrating. But
we went to the post office the other day, and the guy behind the counter, he's a good friend of mine, and he couldn't hardly do anything because the internet went down. You know what I mean? Where many years ago, it was all manual. I mean, there was a manual money order machine, the crank, you pull the crank. It was all, it was a standard cash register. Now everything is online. I mean,
Chuck, I can't tell you how many times, because I go to the post office about every day from stuff that I sell on eBay, and I can't tell you how many times that I go in there and they said, "Oh, our internet's down, we can't do anything." And it's like, real, you can't. Everything's ran off the internet.
Everything
goes down. That's it. They're done.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because I'm listening to you guys, and the other day I thought you guys were my friends because, we were slated to get 10 inches across the board. But instead, Joe and Chuck, being such good friends of mine, decided to get all the inches of snow. And I got none. We had about one. It turned into rain. It disappeared the next day. It was all clean.
Wow, you're lucky.
Well,
and then the temperature went to 45, 46. Now, I'm hoping the same thing happens this weekend. I'm not looking for your snow. In fact, I know you guys love me and stuff, but you can keep it over there if you want. You don't have to send it my way,
So Eddie, what's new at House of the Unusual? What's going on with you?
Well, I was happy to say that I packaged and shipped 2 days ago our first magic set that was bought by Mr. William Osborne. He's actually the first owner of the first magic set, number one. I have here packaged another three, and they've been shrink wrap and stuff. And I'm going to send some pictures to you guys. They look very nice, man. They're phenomenal. And I hope that whoever's out there listening can go to Etsy.com. I only have another 4 to sell. So they're going to probably be going pretty fast. And, like I'm saying, they're out there. It's a one-time deal. They're not going to be around forever. Everything was handmade by Mr. Chuck there. And I think that's fantastic,
I love
Eddie,
the commercial. You should post that on your site. I mean, that thing is amazing. He did about a minute commercial. Wow. It really, really, it captures the whole essence of it. Like it's spooky. It's got the flickering lights and stuff. It's really neat.
Yeah, I thought it was good, but just in case we got some newcomers that haven't been, maybe just jumping on this podcast or a few back. Eddie, you want to discuss, real quick of what this magic kit entails and, who might be interested in it or who it's for?
Well, this magic kit, the one that would actually do better justice and explain that would be Chuck, who actually put it together. I just did all the advertising for it, and I did the packaging for the product. Of course, then I put it into the box, but all the tricks themselves were created and done by Chuck. Now, I think this set is more for the mature audience and the professional magician. If you're starting out, it might be okay for you, but it might be more advanced. It's a very nice set. It's the only one the House of the Unusual has ever put out, or probably will for now. Chuck has also been working on a course that's going to be offered through Udemy pretty soon. I'm waiting for him to finish his lessons, and it's going to be really good. I mean, whoever is interested in serious magic and wants to have a serious magic set, this would be one to get. The items there are not your everyday magic set that you can buy for $25, $40. They have the little plastic cups and ball and, the money maker, which is, they're okay, but they're making really cheap. And I think most of the products in those things are like out from either Taiwan, China, where they're very flimsily made. And the boxing for the magic sets out there look pretty nice. The artwork, I'll give them that. But, this magic set is more for serious people. And recently, I think I'm happy to say that we might be getting some pretty famous people on our show based on this magic set and Chuck. Because let's be honest, all this has been Chuck. All the connections have been bought by Chuck. So I think, Chuck, I'll give it to you now. You explain what you think this magic set is and to who is it directed to.
Yeah, no problem at all. Boy, I'll tell you, my voice is going here. But yeah, you know what? The magic set is one of a kind, and I did handcraft. I mean, every effect in there. Just to give you an idea, the one is a floating shrunken head. I mean, this thing looks really creepy, and I actually hand carved them myself. And the head will float behind a piece of cloth. It'll go back down behind it and pop out the side and so forth. There's a shrunken there's a monkey's paw. It's a really cool routine, and the thing looks downright eerie. I mean, my time and carved it really nice. There's the Pillar of Hercules, which is a neat effect. Spirit Time. You know what? It's all horror, magic, spooky theme to it. With ghosts, goblins, UFOs, and stuff like that. And just like Eddie said, it's all professionally packaged. I mean, he did a bang up job. The box is beautiful. The label's absolutely gorgeous. And there's a DVD that goes in there as well. It's a DVD that I had professionally made. I teach 13 fantastic tricks, how to make them and perform them, with pretty much common, things that are just lying around your house. And there is a link for each trick where they can click onto it, where it'll show the performance and the actual tutorial. Like I actually take my time and I sit down and explain how to do each effect. Yeah. So overall, this is a handmade kit. Like Eddie said, it's not some cheap plastic stuff or anything. You know, I actually put my heart and soul into it. You know, so yeah. Hey, I'm just thankful to be part of this. You know, and thankful that that we got it rolling. So you know what? Definitely check it out, guys.
Where could somebody out there, if they're interested in this kit, where are they able to find it?
Eddie, go ahead, Eddie. Go ahead.
I was going to say the kit has only been, I decided to put all the magic stuff from Chuck at our Etsy shop, which is under the Land of Secrets. It'll also say House of the Unusual, but if you go and look up for the Land of Secrets, the Etsy shop, it'll be on that. And the reason I've decided to do Etsy is because since everything is being done by Chuck by hand, we're only going to do limited editions of every magic trick. Some will only be 1 or 2 of them, and that's it. We're not going to mass produce this. We're going to concentrate more on the mail order course that people would be able to take, and Udemy and stuff like that. And, some performance. And later on, we might do special trainings with Chuck and stuff like that. But actual magic sets and magic apparatus, we're going to put a few out, but limited in quantities. It does 2 things. One, whoever doesn't get it, they're going to have to get it on eBay for some crazy price later on because there's only limited editions of each thing. And second, Chuck is Chuck, you're basically Murphy Magic spokesperson for Inverti. Penguin Magic has had you on. A lot of people, I think, if I'm correct, you're associated with Penn and Teller. They know you. There's also, I hear there's something that somebody mentioned to me that I think David Copperfield even subscribes to your YouTube channel. So you know what? Whoever really wants to have a magician stuff that's done not in China by some company who's putting out something with the name of the magician, this is actually done by Chuck himself. So I really think whoever is a serious magic collector and wants to purchase something like this, here's your chance. Now, I know the price is a little steep. I'm not going to say super, but then again, everything in the set was handmade. The hours involved, the set actually cost a little bit over half the price that is being sold. And then you have, Etsy fees, PayPal fees, and a few things. But overall, as I said, it's a great item, and it's a shame that whoever doesn't get it, they're going to miss out. 8 were made, and 1, of course, will belong to Chuck, who made it. 1 goes to Joe, and then the other one will be for the House of the Unusual, because we need to have in our history, whoever, we need to have each product we create. And down the line, I'm looking to do, if me and Chuck had actually mentioned yesterday, it would be nice to have some type of magic shop or whatever that could be probably in the vicinity of Pittsburgh or something like that. And Chuck would obviously be there, and one of the things that would be good to that would be to make a display of Chuck Caputo magic, all the stuff that he's done throughout the years. I mean, I know that one particular item he did, the Great Leon miniature haunted house, that's the only performance you see on the internet. There's absolutely no more performances. Right now, you put Great Leon miniature haunted house, you're not going to find any footage of anybody performing it. You will find it in Chuck's channel, and you'll find it on House of the Unusual, which I also posted it there. So that tells you how rare and hard those things are. The one house that Chuck had that he used for 20-some years is in my possession right now. I want to be able to display it in some type of museum, because my ultimate goal is to do like an oddities museum. And this is all a project, one step at a time. I'm looking, and we're all looking, as you guys might know, Chuck, me, Joe, and stuff. We're looking to make this our full-time business, and we're now going on it. We're built an audience of almost 7,000 a week, 6,000 something listeners, and then YouTube is going up in subscribers. We haven't posted as much. Chuck is basically run most of YouTube right now. Me and Joe need to post a little. We will. I've been busy putting on together, and Joe's been busy in his end, writing and putting articles together. I've been doing the packaging, the magic sets, and that's what has taken our time. But I really think that whoever's a serious magician out there needs to really get together and say, hey, I'm going to get this set. I'm going to get, because like I said, I will not make any more. And that might make a future magic set, depending. But like I said, it won't be this one. So, everything like you guys know, you'll get it now. It'll be worth $1,000 on eBay in 2 months. Right now, Mail Order Mysteries by Kirk Damaris. If you get a copy for under $50, you're lucky. The book sold 1.5 million copies, and right now, and there's a few copies out there that are signed by me and Kirk. Whoever have those, I'm sure they're going to get prime money for those. But that's the whole deal. The whole deal is, that if you're a collector, you're a serious collector. And the best part is that this magic set is going to be our first NFT, non-fungible token. I'm actually creating the one magic set that's going to be in my possession in House of the Unusual. I'm going to have a digital version of it. So whoever owns the digital version also owns the main version, but it's something that's never been done in Magic and stuff. So I think it will be interesting for the young generation that is into NFTs and are investing into that. I just figure I'm going to tap the waters and see how it's like, So
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thing I did want to mention, guys, is that the actual teaching series that I'm working on, this is for the amateur magician, for the intermediate, all the way up to the professional. So this particular series, it's going to be like a 25 volume series. This does cover the whole gambit. So that'll go out to everybody. I mean, this is a type of a teaching thing that I wish was available way back when I was a kid.
All right, awesome, man. That sounds good. I mean, these kits, I've seen them. They look fantastic. And where could people get Eddie?
The kits can be found in the Land of Secrets in Etsy. If you go to Etsy, you'll find it under the Land of Secrets. That's the name of the shop, and you'll know because it will say Chuck Caputo Magic on the top, and it's got a really nice banner across the top. I mean, I actually love it. It looks really retro.
It's awesome. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I really like. Now, Chuck, am I correct in saying it is the Land of Secrets, not the House of Secrets, correct?
I'm looking at it right now. It's the House of Secrets.
Is it House of Secrets?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Okay, guys. I gave you the wrong. It's the House of Secrets. Those are websites that House of the Unusual owns. So I own the landofsecret.com. I own the houseofsecret.com. For Etsy, I wasn't going to put House of the Unusual because there'll be a confusion. We have an eBay store. We have the website. There's a lot of things out there. So I figured the House of Secrets.
And here's the thing, too. When people go into Etsy to search and you type in the House of Secrets, it's all one word. So make sure you type it in the search, all one word, the House of Secrets, and it'll pop up.
All right.
All right. So, hey, let's get on with our topic for today. But before that, what I wanted to ask last podcast, and I forgot or it slipped my mind or whatnot, but did Eddie or Chuck, did you guys get to watch that movie Threads?
I did not. No, I did not.
Oh, okay.
I will though.
Did you watch it, Eddie?
No, Joe. I had it on the scene to watch, and then it was the same day that the Blacklist came on, and I'm too much of a fan of the Blacklist to let that go. I had to watch the Blacklist at least twice,
Okay. When you guys watch it, we'll discuss it.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm actually planning to watch Threads probably either tomorrow night or Friday night. Because Friday night is when they do the Blacklist. I mean, Thursday night, but Friday night, is usually when I watch it. But I might watch it Thursday because I do have the Fubo app thing that I can pre-record it. So this way I don't have to wait another day. It's too teeth grinding of a situation.
All right. So, hey, what I wanted to talk about tonight while we still have some time is, on our forum site on House of the Unusual, Dr. Saab put up a new thread that's called Movies from Your Childhood. And, I'm a very nostalgic person, kind of like, we all are, that everyone that comes on here. But, this one really got the gears moving for me because there's a lot of movies and TV shows from my childhood that I vividly remember. There's some distinct smells with them when I think about them. And a lot of them shaped, who I was as a child and even, who I became as a young adult and as an adult as well. And guessing it's kind of the same for everybody that grew up, in front of the screen. And, even though, I'm a child of the 80s, we didn't, at that time, we were still outside playing and all that. So I got to see these movies in, the late morning or an early afternoon matinee or at night with some of the TV hosts that were on, like Rhonda Shear or Commander USA, stuff like that. So a lot of these movies, it really started jogging my memories, and some really came back to me. But I wanted to, I have my post up on House of the Unusual in the forum, and you could see some of my movies that I referenced on there, and I'll talk about some of those as well too. But I wanted to get your guys' take, Chuck, Eddie, and Cheri, of some of the movies and even TV shows, because there was a lot of great TV shows out there that kind of, influenced you, or whether it be in a good way or a bad way, or maybe it's a movie that you didn't really care for or like, but when you think about it, there's maybe like a certain smell to it, or you get a certain, vision of maybe you sitting in your living room, watching TV with your parents or siblings or something like that. So, Chuck and Cheri, we'll start off with you guys. What are some movies or TV shows that were an influence to you, or even if they weren't an influence, some of them that you really enjoyed in your childhood years?
Yeah, no problem. Hey, I think that's a great subject. You know what? As far as TV shows, when I was a kid, probably in the late 60s, the early 70s, the one show I watched a lot and I kind of looked up to was I don't know why, but I thought that was like the perfect family. It was like, wow, that is really cool. You know what? And then when I looked at my own family, I mean, like I had great parents and stuff, but there was always like problems. It's like what I'm thinking. Well, how come my family's not like this? You know what I mean? So there is a downside to it, but it was like there was something to look up to. It was like the way they encouraged the kids with everything, and it was positive overall, and so it was something to look up to. Movie impacted me in 1973. I think it came out. I was 9 years old, and my brother, who's 7 years older than me, took me downtown Pittsburgh to see a movie that was out. It was very popular. It was The Exorcist.
Oh boy!
Yeah, that thing scared the hell out of me.
Oh my god!
I mean, I couldn't sleep for days.
9 years old.
I was 9 years old.
Wow.
I had no business, to watch that movie at that age. And then around that time, maybe a couple years later, Westworld. That was about 1970. 75 with Yul Brynner, James Brolin. That was an excellent movie, and I still watch it to this day. I watch it maybe about twice a year. You know what? I've always been interested in robotics, mechanical devices, and so forth. It's just a whole concept that Michael Crichton came up with. Where the robots or the computers would get a virus, strangely enough, and they actually turn on you. What the whole concept. So yeah, those three things pretty much stuck in my mind. And go ahead.
Oh yeah, hi.
Hi, Cheri.
Hi. Some of the
Hi, Cheri.
Hi, Eddie. Some of the movies and some of the TV shows I grew up with for girls that stuck in my mind was, of course, Shirley Temple. When she's a little girl dancing and tap dancing, because I too was a dancer when girl. Well, through my childhood, tap dance, ballet. Yeah. And I always wanted to be an actress, but it settled to be a nurse. That was my second choice, right? One of the movies that I really, really enjoyed watching every year when it came out was Cinderella, 1965, with Leslie Ann Warren. It was Walter Pigeon and Ginger Rogers, the king and the queen. Yeah, that for romance. That was, I think, for little girls. They really, So
cool.
Awesome. Yeah. Now, do you guys have any movies or TV shows that when you think about, like, you'll get like a certain, you could smell something, like, a movie that you always watched while eating a bowl of cereal, and you could instantly, smell that cereal or anything like that? Any kind of weird stuff like that?
No. What's that called?
I think there's yeah. You know what? I think there's a medical term for that. It's called synesthesia, where you can taste colors and like smell different things. Kid, Joe, this is something. I couldn't look at a plum colored car. You know what? Like I would get nauseous. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like whenever a car a plum color would drive by, I'd go like, "Ugh," it would make me, it would make me nauseous. And when I was real young, when certain music would play, I would see colors, yeah, like fly up above my head and stuff.
How old
But
were you?
about two or maybe about four.
Wow.
But that's called synesthesia, and if you do check it out, that is a condition. People tend to outgrow it, I think. But no, I can't think of anything like that. But I did love the cartoons too. Oh man,
yeah.
we had the Looney Tunes, the Merry Melodies. I mean,
Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry. Yeah, you know what? Even to this day, I still pop on net. Is it Netflix? I guess. And I watch like vintage cartoons. They're fantastic.
That's awesome. I tell you, and and Cheri mentioned what was it? Was it Cinderella, right? Is that what you mentioned, Cheri, or was it Snow White? Because I was thinking of both. Cinderella. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember even when I was young, because I had a younger sister. I still have a younger sister. She's 4 years younger than me, but we always watched a lot of Disney. So
Oh yes.
yeah, Cinderella, Snow White. What was the original one where he was the wizard on the mountain? Eddie knows what it's called.
You mean Mickey Mouse?
Yes.
The wizard?
Was that Fantasia?
Yeah, Fantasia. Yeah.
That's it, Chuck. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fantasia.
that the Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, all these ones that started coming out on VHS, we were grabbing because they were, it was kind of like the first time you could really watch them unless you caught them on TV. So, a lot of that we watched, and man, I always loved that old artwork from Walt Disney that came out in like the 30s and 40s and even through the 50s and all that. And
yeah,
I think it was some of it got kind of lost in the stuff they did in the 80s, but their original stuff was just fantastic. I mean, the Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty, that artwork was just great. I mean, that's really, and even a Fantasia, that's just a staple of Disney animation right there.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So great. So Eddie, what's some of the TV shows and movies you got? I'm sure you're compiling your list as we speak.
I gotta tell you, as a kid, the one TV show that really turned me completely was the George Reeves Superman.
Oh yeah,
awesome.
I used to watch that in Batman afterwards. I think it was Channel 11 at the time. But the thing that was phenomenal is when I got my first Superman costume. If you guys remember, and I'm sure Chuck and Cheri will know what I'm about to say, when you opened up the plastic, the smell that it emitted was phenomenal. It came usually in dolls, like when I'm sure Cheri, when she had her dolls, and you smell the hair, that smell of that plastic. You know what I'm talking about, guys?
I think I do.
That smell is phenomenal. It's where you want to like open it and keep smelling it. So every time I think of old toys or old vinyl or, like dolls, when you opened up a doll for girls, a doll, that smell was always there.
Right.
But it also came when you bought Halloween costumes from Ben Cooper.
Eddie, I was just going to mention that because I could smell the inside plastic Ben Cooper mask. I had a G.I. Joe one, and I could smell the plastic right now, like clear as day, like it's right in front of me.
Well, that is the best smell. But now, the other show that did and probably made me most of the stuff that I love, robots, and was Lost in Space.
I love that program.
That was my main to go. Now, Danger. Well, I love the laser gun. In fact, there was a time, I don't know how I did it, but I used to take newspapers, and out of newspapers, I would build the robot. I would, like a 3D model of it, the laser gun. And of course, a lot had to do also with Courageous Cat and Minute Mouse, where he had a weapon for everything. So I would make those weapons out of clay. And, the from Courageous Cat and Minute Mouse. But the whole thing is, growing up, of course, and then when I had my daughter and stuff, and I start going into Disney, because here's the whole thing. In the 1970s, Disney was geared more towards females. So there was not too many. In the 1950s and 60s, it was like a dual audience. In the 70s, you had the Mickey Mouse Club and stuff like that. And so, sometimes I watched that. One of my favorite shows, I think, was called, not Zoom. I forgot the name of it, but they used to raffle off toys. And I used to be like, it was like they would call the kids down and they had all these toys. I'm not sure, Chuck, you know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah, I have an idea. Yeah, I do remember.
It was a big show, but Disney, when my daughter was born, of course, I would be forced to watch Beauty and the Beast, The Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
And, you know, Disney took a turn from the original Bambi, which was kind of, I know a lot of people are going to kill me for that. It was kind of lame. You know, you always had the musical and the singing, which is one thing I hated from movies of the 70s. Because even though they were done in the 60s, every time you had to watch something, somebody had to go out and sing, you know?
Yeah.
And I really didn't like that. But what I was going to say, though, is in The Little Mermaid, oh, my God, you know, the crab, he's phenomenal. He's hilarious. And one of my favorites that stands out.
Doesn't he sing Under the Sea?
Yeah, he sings Under the Sea. Yeah.
That is cool.
That is really cool. But then there's also the one which was funny which is Aladdin. Now, Aladdin, what I like about the evil guy there, he's got two little evil characters with him. And he looks at them and said, what is that you're wearing? And he had like a brand sneaker. I forgot what it was. And he goes, I got them on discount. I thought that was, you know, hilarious and stuff. And then I also like the one with the parrot, Largo. I think, which one was that? That the evil guy and the parrot in his shoulder.
I know who
the name of the parrot was Largo, I think, or
I don't remember that one.
Oh gosh.
No, but I tell you what, just to bring it back real quick, when you're talking about Lost in Space, because I recently watched the first two seasons from start to finish, and I know you guys have seen it as well, but were you guys like me and just wanted to kill that, just reach through the TV, Dr. Smith?
Oh, he was a pain.
Am I the only one who's yelling at the TV going, why are they not just kicking him out and leaving him?
Yeah, well, he would. You know what? He would always insult the robots and call them names. I know. Yeah. He made me mad.
He caused so many problems on there, and then they're just like, "Oh yeah, he's okay," and they bring him back in there, and fall for his same lame excuses every time. And I'm just like,
well, you know what?
Cringing at the TV, going, just get him out of there. Let one of the aliens take him off or something.
Well, you know what, though? The first season is okay. The second season carries the other two.
Yeah.
The third season is a little in the lame side, but the second season, it's all usually Dr. Smith. Then they have Will Robinson. And one thing I'm going to say about the second season, though, is with the laser and all that stuff, this guy did John Rennie. Rennie, I think it is, from The Day the Earth Stood Still. Michael Rennie, Michael Rennie,
right. When
he did the one that's called The Keeper, that's the one that there's like some type of truck. It looked like a mobile, not a mobile. What do you call this? Like a trailer or something. And Dr. Smith comes and knocks down something. All the monsters start coming out of there with the noise. I found that frightening as a kid. Yeah. And also, the second season, I think, is the one that had the War of the Robots between Robbie and the second season was probably the best of all the seasons.
Yeah, definitely.
I have, by the way, it was kind of, this is funny. Where I work, one of the friends of Bill Money, they grew up together. They had a band when they were young, lived there. And he had Bill Money sign me a Blu-ray discs of the entire 3 seasons. And they gave it to me as a gift. But I mean, I had bought it also when it first came out on DVD. I have actually like 2 or 3 sets of it because it is a phenomenal show. And it's fun to watch. And, and the Jupiter 2 with its voyages, the way it flew. And I thought it was a phenomenal looking flying saucer. I have today, I think it was put out by Threadmasters or something like that, in the 1990s, early 90s or so, or early 2000s. They had the Jupiter 2. I have about 3 or 4 of those models. They go today for a couple of $100, but I'm telling you, they're beautiful. I think it's a well done show, and it actually probably was a staple as to me growing up and stuff. Yeah, I did like watching the Brady Bunch, which it was kind of funny when Chuck said it, and also the Partridge Family. I used to like, and of course, I did like the Patrick Family because I used to like the sister, that played on.
Cheri was in love with David Cassidy. Cheri.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. My wife too. My wife too.
God rest his soul.
But you know what? One thing I'm going to tell you is that with the Brady Bunch, it was fun. I used to like to watch it. Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
that was a good one. I forgot about Gilligan's Island. That was.
And did any of you guys watch the new Sue review? I think it was.
Absolutely. I used to watch that before I'd get ready for school in the morning.
Yeah, me too. Where it says
Yep.
in the garden of make believe.
That was cool. You know what? Like they would play that, and then the Three Stooges were on shortly after that, and it was like early in the morning. I mean, like 6:30 in the morning. Then I'd get ready and go off to school. I was in like first or second grade then.
You know who I used to listen to when I was about 10 or 11? I used to listen to Don Imus in the morning.
Yeah.
He woke me up to, and that was kind of funny and stuff. But I couldn't believe when I saw Don Imus. I go, that's what he looks like. I thought he was more like a shirt and tie, type of guy.
Yeah.
But I gotta say though, with all those shows that we watched, most of those shows had one thing in common. A lot of them had robots. They all had some type of laser gun or futuristic monster. It kind of had the same theme. Now, in school, I remember there was a show, and this was, I think, Channel 13 PBS in my area, which was called Vegetable Soup. I don't know if any of you guys ever watched
that does ring a bell a little bit. Yeah, I think I do remember that.
We used to watch it in class when we started in my homeroom class. I used to be in a Catholic school. And they would put it on because all the classes had a television, of course. And what it was this. They were like kind of like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood kind of thing, where you had the puppets or such. But they were building a rocket ship to go up into space or sometime. And I thought that was phenomenal, man. And I used to look forward to going to school to watch it every day, And I thought this was funny though, because one day they had a commercial and it showed like a running stream of water. And I was very, very thirsty. In fact, I was so thirsty, I would have died for just a glass of water that morning. And I remember watching that. And I still haven't forgotten it to this day. And I'm like, wow, if I could just taste water. I must have been dehydrated, I guess. But yeah, the 70s were, and let's be honest, Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein and Abbott and Costello Hold That Ghost. I think in the comedy hour were also the shows that I always watched to laugh. And I was watching it the other day, the Abbott and Costello comedy hour. And I got to tell you that Colgate, it's so funny. And my daughter goes, how do you laugh at that? What's not even funny? And I go, what? I said, you're not even my daughter for saying that. How could you? I mean, it's a hysterical show. I mean, it's goofy and stuff, but it's funny.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
Yeah, I don't think the younger generation get it. You know what I mean? I know because my kids look at me too, like, what are you laughing at? How come you want to watch these shows?
Yeah, well, you guys got to do this. If any of you guys remember this, especially from the Northeast here, I know Joe. I think Chuck, you say you remember. I don't know if Joe did. There was in 1973. There was it's a Canadian show, and it was done by one actor. I think his name was Ike, and he played all the roles, all the characters in the show. But it was called The Hilarious House of Frightenstein, not Frankenstein, Frightenstein. And our famous, my favorite character from The House of Haunted Hill, Vincent Price, is the narrator that they used to do the entry and the outro of the show. Or the intro and outro. Now, the guy who played that, there was a Dracula, a Frankenstein in a slab in the laboratory. And then Dracula used to call him Brucey. And he would go, oh, Brucey, why don't you? I
remember.
Okay, well, here's the funny part where I'm telling you people out there who are listening. If you guys like Chuck's voice, now, all I keep getting from everybody that contacts me is that guy Chuck. I like to listen to him. He's got an interesting voice. And I say, yeah, he reminds me of Wolfman Jack, right? Well, there is a part in that show, Chuck, if you remember how they used to show the librarian.
Yeah.
The librarian was coughing, a really old guy.
Yeah.
Then they had the Wolfman. He says, I am the Wolfman. And he plays psychedelic music.
Yeah.
That's who sounds like you. I was actually the other day looking at it, and I go, man, no wonder. Chuck was probably the actor in that
I was
episode.
I was the original Wolfman.
Yeah, the original Wolfman. But I thought that was funny though. That
Oh,
show
yeah.
was hilarious.
Oh yeah. I remember Wolfman Jack used to do a guest spot on Don Kirshner's rock concert. I don't know if you remember that. That was on
Yes,
a
he did. I remember.
yeah, that was cool. That was on like a Friday or a Saturday night, and they had all the top entertainers at that time. And Wolfman would be on there. This is Wolfman Jack coming at you. Whoa!
Yeah, it's Wolfman Jack. And you know what's so funny too? When I said about that, like that show Frightens, he had another funny thing that I know Joe would get a kick out of. There would be a gorilla, like in the intermission, a gorilla would come. He'd be hit in the head with a ping pong ball, and he'd fall forward. I mean, there were goofy shows, but you know what? They were phenomenal, man. I used to look.
Well, I tell you what, you guys, brought up the 60s and 70s, and I'm gonna come in the tail end here with the 80s and 90s because that was kind of my area, and there was I tell you there was some great stuff that came out in that period, in a lot of movies and TV shows, but I even have a few from the 60s and 70s, and one from 1967. One of my absolute favorite movies is The Dirty Dozen, which I'm sure everyone out there has seen.
That's a wonderful movie.
And then from 1970, Kelly's Heroes.
Oh yeah.
Those were two movies that I used to, it almost seems like I watched them every Saturday or Sunday morning, and they were a huge influence on me of, being intrigued with the military and all that, and how it shaped my future, along with the G.I. Joe cartoon movie that came out in 87.
Yeah.
So we had that, and then kind of like my like, I guess almost like sense of wonderment and like I guess kind of like almost like make believe, because it made me want to go out and when I was young and just play kind of like make believe all day was the Goonies from 1985.
Oh, that was great. I love that.
one.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Just such a great movie of this group of kids who went on this really cool adventure, and
oh man,
and of course couldn't really do that in real life, but you could go out in your backyard or in the woods and use your imagination and have your own adventures. What I was able to do with myself and some neighborhood kids, and we'd get together and do our own thing, because it was such a huge movie at the time.
It was a very big movie. I like to look up at the cast. I always like to look up the cast members and everything. I think the kid that played Chunk, if I'm not mistaken, he became a lawyer, So yeah.
Oh, really?
It's actually fascinating to look up some of these, who played in the different roles. Did you guys like Gomer Pyle? That's one I like.
I used to like that show.
Yeah, that was cool. You know what? I like Jim Nabors. He was fantastic. Frank, very early age.
He did.
Yeah.
Did you?
Carter.
I tell you what was cool, Chuck, is, and I don't even think they have it on TV anymore, was Nickelodeon had kind of like a segment at night. It was called Nick at Night.
Oh yeah,
where they played all those classic television shows. So I was lucky enough to be able to watch that and see a lot of these classic shows, but I don't think they have anything like it anymore.
You know something funny? When you said Gomer Pyle, you brought him up. There was one where Jim Nabors, of course, Gomer, he went to take the sergeant's car somewhere, and they stole
I love that one.
That's what I thought when they stole my car, and I remember that he goes like, he was running around the line like, where? Oh my God.
That was a good one. That was
Golly.
Golly.
He was like, golly, they took his car.
That was, that was a good show, and I liked, I also liked the Green Acres. That was pretty.
Green Acres is the place to be.
Yeah, they were all, they were all crazy on there, man.
For me,
I
forgot about Green Acres, but I can never forget that song.
How about you guys? Do you remember when you say Green Acres? There was also the other one with the old lady. What were they? The old the hillbillies.
Oh, Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah, Beverly Hillbillies.
Didn't that lady remind you of the one that Abbott and Costello episode where he went to, I guess, the hills, and he had a family, and they used to call him Squeeze Box.
Oh yeah.
And every time the guy would say, "Oh woman," and she would take a gun and shoot his pipe off.
Yeah, I remember it. Hey, there was an episode of the Beverly Hillbillies that had to do with magic. You remember Jethro bought a bunch of magic apparatus from, I think, John Carradine played the magician who.
Yes.
Oh, really?
I think he was retiring, and then he bought it all, and then he used May as his assistant, and that was a really good episode. It was really cool.
The
Well, I'm
the
gonna
Beverly
try to find that one.
Hillbillies. No, I was gonna say the Beverly Hillbillies weren't as popular as people I think would think. You had shows like Bonanza, which I used to
Right.
like the one show that had Lee Majors in it.
Oh, I love the $6 Million Man. That was
No. I'm talking about the Western. Remember when he played the Western? He was one of the cowboys.
Oh, you mean the Big Valley? Yeah,
Big Valley. Yeah, I used to like that show.
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys one thing though. There is one show. There's two shows that if you haven't watched, you need to watch. They're westerns. One is Branded with Chuck Connors, and the other one is The Guns of Will Sonnet.
Okay.
The Guns of. Have you guys watched that?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
No.
go to Netflix. Go see if they have it. But The Guns of Will Sonnet. I was introduced to that show in probably 1997, and we used to watch it in my job. Me and the engineering guy and one of the guards, we watched it every day. In The Guns of Will Sonnet, I forgot the name of the actor's very of a famous actor. It's some old guy who he is supposed to be like the best in the gun, and then his son is a gunfighter.
Okay.
So him and the grandson go in search of the father. And every episode they try to meet Will Sonnet. They're looking for Will Sonnet. I'm going to tell you the truth. That show is phenomenal. It's awesome.
Wow.
And I like the old guy when he says to like the people, he says, you know, that's my son. Just remember, I'm better. You know, like.
Hey, here's a Western you guys. Well, I'm sure you guys remember it, but it's kind of I guess a lesser known one was Wagon Train.
Oh yeah,
I remember Wagon
Absolutely.
Train.
Now there was a great and I just watched it this past summer. It was called the Tobias Jones story. It came out in 1958, and it was actually Lou Costello. He was the main kind of like the main character on there. Have you guys seen that?
I have the movie. That's actually
no, I've never
that's
seen
one of
it.
the movies that Costello did when he broke off with Abbott, I think.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
he was. I tell you what, he played a kind of like a drunkard and all that. And there was really no comedy or nothing. It was a very serious and dramatic role that he was playing. And my gosh,
it failed though.
What's that?
It failed. It didn't get him. He didn't. I mean, the movie itself didn't do too well.
No, but I tell you what, it was a TV show. It was one of the episodes on the TV show. But I tell you what, he was absolutely fantastic on it. And yeah, it was towards the end of his career, and he was, of course, known as a comedian. But just to see him for the first time in this dramatic role,
to play a serious role, wow.
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys one thing though, and just like if you guys used to like The Rifleman, which The Rifleman.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That was Chuck Connors, right?
Yeah, Chuck Connors. Yep,
that was a good one.
Cheri, did you ever get into any westerns or anything?
No, but I remember my stepdad. He'd watch Gunsmoke.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was a great one. Yeah,
he liked that. Yeah. Did you guys like
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I like those better than the Addams Family.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask you because that's always like the biggest, debate: Munsters or Addams Family.
That's right.
Yeah,
I tell you what, Cheri, I watched a few Munsters episodes a couple weeks ago, and they're very good, and it's depending on the day, I could go either or. I mean, they have some great episodes. I mean, Herman is just he's hilarious.
He is.
Grandpa, I love Grandpa.
Yeah. I mean, they have some great episodes. So I guess it's, if I'm going to be objective, kind of like, I guess, how I'm feeling that day, if I'm an Addams Family fan more or Munster.
If you're feeling melancholy, Hey, hey, but there was a magic one episode of the Munsters too. Remember when Herman was doing magic on stage and Grandpa was actually doing the magic. He was like casting the spells and so forth. But yeah, but there was of him doing magic on there, so you might want to check that out too.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I have the DVD set, and I've been going through it. I'm starting off from the beginning. I'm only, I think, maybe 6 or 7 episodes in.
Yeah, I think that only lasted, surprisingly, Joe. I think it only lasted 1 season, if I'm not mistaken, 1 or 2 at the most. It wasn't much, but they made a lot of, back then. But it didn't last.
I believe it was 2 seasons. I'm gonna just to be sure, look it up right now. I thought it was 2 seasons, 70 episodes. Yeah.
70. Okay. Yeah. It's just, you know what? There were so many of the episodes that I thought it lasted for, 4 or 5 seasons, but it wasn't. It was only, like you said, 2. Yeah. Back then they made a lot.
Yeah, they should. Yeah, they did. When you kind of look at seasons now, some of them are maybe anywhere from 8, usually 10, if you're on Netflix or something, and
right,
maybe at the high end, 15, 20. I think some of the more popular ones maybe went upwards of 20, but yeah, nothing like they used to be, man.
No, nothing like it. I think The Walking Dead, I stopped watching that, but for the first few years, I was a big Walking Dead fan. But I think they only made like maybe 6 or 7 or 8 episodes, and that was it, man. And they had the mid-series type of thing. Then they quit and they come back later in the fall. But it was only about maybe 6 or 7 episodes. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that kind of seems like how a lot of these shows are going for, and it kind of sucks because there's some good stories out there. But hey, we're down to the last 4.5 minutes, so we are going to wrap it up with some final thoughts. But before we do, just for everyone out there who's listening, you guys will probably be listening to this on the January 20th or later, but we're actually recording right now on Wednesday, January 19th, and there's a special birthday today of a writer that's very, very dear to me and was a huge influence on me from when I was young, and that is Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh,
born
wow.
January 19th, 1809. So he's what, I think 213 years. Is that what it is?
Yeah. Oh, he was the man. He was the man. Oh.
Yeah. I started reading him probably maybe 7th or 8th grade, and I fell in love with him, and I've been a fan ever since. I'm a part of a few historical societies that they have with him, and I still read him, and watch movies based off him. Just, he's been a huge influence on my life, so I definitely wanted to say that. So, Chuck and Cheri, what's your final thoughts for today, and what do you got?
All right. Hey, it's always great coming here. Speaking of birthdays, my birthday's is it Thursday, Cheri?
Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. I don't even know. January 25th. I'll be 58. Can you believe that? Oh my goodness.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah, well, thank you. But hey, it was great coming by. Always a good conversation. What do you have to say, Cheri?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I enjoy every time I'm here.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Eddie, are you with us? Yeah, Eddie. I think he dropped off. He sent me a text that something on his dropped off. So
okay.
He's having some technical issues out there. So hopefully he's still recording there, or we'll have to drop it short. But just want to say thank you to everybody out there who's tuning in to us. You can find this weekly on your favorite podcast platform. Subscribe to our channel, give us a nice review if you so choose. Also head over to houseoftheunusual.com. That is our flagship site. We have a great free forum on there. A lot of great discussions going on there. Like I said, the new one just popped up by Dr. Saab about movies that influenced you as a child. So definitely head over there. We also have the Cryptic Classics section in the thread where we talk about some horror movies and all that, and gives you a chance to discuss, what you liked or didn't like about that particular movie. So hopefully by next week, you guys will have seen Threads, and we'll be able to discuss it a little bit, because it is a creepy movie. So that's all we got on this end, man. So, hey, guys, thanks for joining us, Chuck and Cheri, and Eddie's somewhere out there in podcast land. He got sucked into. I wonder if those storms are starting to come his way and knocking him off. So hopefully everything's well out there with him. I'll give him a call after this and see what we got. So
okay.
All right, guys. Hey, thanks for stopping by, and everybody out there in podcast land, thanks for joining us once again, and good night.
Okay, good night. God bless. Bye-bye.